You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday, happy Moon Day, and welcome to a new week. In today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of backtracking because my regulars have noticed I took an unexpected little break, just felt into it and took a couple days off. So I'm really excited to be back. Rachel is here. Hey there. Only able to be on here for a short while, but we're so excited you said hi. Hey, Rose. And we're going to talk about some of the major shifts that happened over the weekend and also look ahead to the powerful conjunctions coming up this week. Grand rising to you, Bree. It's going to be a good week. Happy Monday, Angela. So let's check in. Hi, Corby. Happy Monday. How did the energy of the weekend feel for you? Today, it's the last quarter moon in Scorpio, so there's been a lot of shedding, a lot of releasing. We had the moon in Libra for much of the weekend, but then it moved into Scorpio, which is a lot darker and a little bit more intense energy. And we also had Mercury move into Aquarius over the weekend. So that's where we're going to start talking about Mercury in Aquarius, getting acclimated to this new energy. Mercury in Aquarius. It's time to think differently. Mercury, the planet of communication, in the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the water bearer, inviting us to open to different perspectives. Aquarius energy is all about innovation, but it's also about walking to the beat of your own drum and being willing to break away from convention in order to innovate. Nobody ever invented anything new or came up with a new idea by subscribing to the information already available to them or the teachings of people who came before them. It requires somebody to question, to rebel a little bit against convention in order to innovate. So we're all asked to do that a little bit more over the next couple weeks through the end of February. It's easier to open our minds. It's easier to learn new information. Mercury rules technology. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet also associated with technology as well. So we can kind of view our minds as a technology in themselves and attune them or adjust them to open to new data, new information, or even just come into situations with the mindset of seeing things differently. And how we communicate with other people, with Mercury being the planet of communication, might feel a little bit different with Mercury in Aquarius as well. Now, Aquarius energy isn't the most warm and fuzzy. It's a little detached. So communication could be a little bit robotic or detached over the next couple weeks. We are coming out of Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury was in Capricorn for a long while because we had that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. So it's been there since 2022. And Mercury in Capricorn was definitely serious, practical, talking about money, talking about success, really seeing things or communicating with logic first. Mercury in Aquarius allows us to break out of that just a little bit. Aquarius is still very logical, but just open to new information rather than operating on what we already know or what has already been told to us. So finding new ways of communicating, talking to new people, communicating with more eccentric, odd people. Aquarius is all about the oddball, right? And forward thinking comes very naturally with Mercury in Aquarius as well, because Aquarius is all about the future, innovation, the future, they go hand in hand. So forward thinking, thinking about the future. I love this as we're coming into spring. The sun is starting to be out more. We're starting to look at the year ahead a little bit more clearly, and innovation is on the mind. Aquarius is also the sign of community, and so you might find yourself communicating in community more. Group chats could get a little bit more active, or community message boards, talking in groups of people as well. It feels good to be communicating in a group with Mercury in Aquarius. So you might find that you have ideas by being around an eclectic group of people who are all providing their own inputs and help you open your mind or see things a little bit differently. So lots of different ways that we can expect our mind to expand with Mercury in Aquarius. And we're going to get into what's been going on with the moon as well in just a moment. So I'm glad you're all checking in here. Weekend was filled with release and awakening. Beautiful. So perfect for you, right? With the moon going over your ascendant, letting go, starting anew. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, lunar return over here. Me too. Had a good weekend, got a bit trigger, but was able to release, cut energetic cords that no longer serve me. Yes, yes, yes. This Scorpio moon has been powerful for cutting cords, releasing. Hey, Nick. Mercury in Aquarius giving me innovative vibes, freedom. Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Corby. Free your mind. Free your mind with Mercury in Aquarius. Aquarius energy wants to be free. It's ruled by Uranus. So it's all about, again, breaking out of convention or breaking free from structures. So free your mind. Yes. Allow the structures and the constructs already there to loosen a little bit, maybe create new pathways, new avenues with Mercury in Aquarius. Yes, yes, yes. Happy Monday, Nikki. Happy to have you here. So that's what we felt really first thing this weekend. That happened overnight, Friday into Saturday. We're also still feeling this sextile between Mars and Chiron today. So I want to pull this up here and just touch on this very briefly, since it is still playing out in the cosmos right now. And I'll show you what that looks like. We have Mars at 13 degrees in Gemini and Chiron at 13 degrees in Aries. So this isn't an extended transit per se, but we are feeling this for a couple days. You might still be feeling this through the weekend. Not something we talked about too much, but Mars in Gemini has been really mentally activating us and just kind of scattering our energy in a lot of different directions. Gemini is all about diversity and variety, and that juggling analogy I've been bringing up over the past several months with Mars and Gemini. This sextile to Chiron, this supportive angle to Chiron, is allowing even small steps we make to be healing, Chiron being the wounded healer. However, it's also easy to be like overstimulated and for triggers to pop up. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, since Chiron is the wounded healer, so it can represent our wounds, but also our healing. The actions we're taking now can be healing if we're being intentional about them, if we're being mindful about them. It's all about how we're directing our energy. So even following an impulse, like that instinct to move, can lead us to powerful realizations or healing moments. But we have to be acting from a place of curiosity rather than primal reaction or being triggered, right? Like, ooh, what would happen if I did this, rather than like, oh, this is irritating me and I'm just going to react, right? Does that make sense? So healing is available to us in this process of release that we've been feeling with the moon over the past couple days and even into today. And freedom, speaking of freedom, Corby, freedom is right around the corner. We're going to end our forecast today with freedom. So just know if you're feeling a little triggered, a little irritated, yeah, that's definitely a side effect of this connection between Mars and Chiron, but being curious about the triggers, following them from a place of like, what would happen if? What would happen if I just followed this and acted on this and worked with it? That could provide a lot of healing. So those are the two major transits we're talking about. Luckily, I haven't been live here since last Wednesday, but every other day has been just the moon. We've just been moving with the moon, and it's been a lot of releasing. The moon was in Libra towards the end of last week, so a lot of relating to other people. Then the moon moved into Scorpio on Saturday, bringing us even deeper into our emotions. So let's talk through kind of the emotional wave that we have been riding. Nikki says, last night was very heavy. I didn't sleep well. The moon was in Scorpio. If there is a transit that's heavy, it's Scorpio moon for sure. Yeah, sending you love. Oh, that makes me happy that you missed me. Sorry, I didn't even plan on taking a break. It was just like, okay, gotta listen to my instinct, my intuition, but I'm really, really, really happy to be back with you all. So without further ado, let's talk about the moon. We started with the moon in Libra on Friday, I believe. Nope, Thursday. Thursday, the moon moved into Libra, Thursday morning. And I'm not going to get into all the transits the moon made, but just noticing on Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday, if you were drawn to relating to other people or wanting to bounce emotions off other people, when the moon's in Libra, we really crave relationships. We're nurtured by our relationships. And something that came up when we talked about the moon in Libra is finding that inner balance before the release. So, or even just not necessarily finding it, but observing if there's anything off balance that needs to be released as well, right? So the moon in Libra wasn't a totally smooth ride. It squared Pluto on Saturday, so that could have brought up some imbalances, kind of tipping the scales of the Libra moon. Power struggles might have happened or popped up on Saturday for you, or just difficult emotions. It's funny because the moon was squaring Pluto, and as I was writing the forecast on Saturday, we were getting ready to rearrange our house. Like, we rearranged half of our house this weekend. Very Libra moon, right? I need to change the aesthetic. And I knew the moon was going to square Pluto while that was happening. And I was like, oh, is this a bad idea to be like trying to rearrange things and move furniture with the moon squaring Pluto? I will say I was happy that I knew it was happening, because there were, I wouldn't say like power struggles, but minor, I mean, literally my partner and I moving furniture and like having to work together and use our power to move heavy things. We definitely broke a piece of furniture in the process. And I'm like, of course, the square to Pluto, something's going to break, right? And then delayed us. We had to put a leg back on a cabinet. It was a whole thing. So just giving that little anecdote, like, just because we're aware the transits are happening doesn't necessarily make them immune to them, but it was very helpful for me to know, like, okay, I'm not going to add fuel to the fire. I'm just going to tap into my Libra energy, be the diplomat under this Libra moon, and not let my scales get swayed too much. Bree says, I have to say I enjoyed you not going live only because I love that you were out enjoying life, but it made me check my own chart and transits. Sometimes I rely on hearing the live stream. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you. I wondered that too. I'm like, are people going to be checking the written forecast a little bit more without me, talking through it? Bree says, but from what I learned from your transit tracking course, I am able to check the daily transits and see how they are affecting me. I love being able to do the work on my own. Of course. Wait, hold on. Of course, I love seeing your face live. Thank you for all that you do. That makes me so happy, Bree, on so many levels. But, that's why I created transit tracking as a complement to these live streams, and really as a complement to the daily write-ups I do on the Spiritual Journalist. I've been a little behind on those too, but working on getting back into a rhythm. It's sometimes I'm just in the flow and it's like, yes, I've got this. And sometimes it's like there's a bunch of other stuff stacked up over here that I've got to tend to first. But yeah, and I get it. Sometimes people can't make the daily live stream. Sometimes you want to get up first thing in the morning and check like, okay, I have a big meeting at this time, or I have an appointment at this time. What's going on right around then during the day? So being able to check on your own, I think, and I get some people just like to read through things really quickly too. I'm someone like, voice memos. I'm like not about voice memos. I'm like, just text me so I can read it. I can read it faster than it takes for me to listen to you saying it. But some people like to listen better. So anyway, I digress. Thank you for that feedback. Appreciate you. And thank you to everybody who just sees me and honors me taking a little time away from the stream. Thanks, Corby. So empowering to be able to do the digging and see what's in store for me. Oh, thank you, Corby. Thank you. Thank you. Nick checked the website. Love it. Thanks, Bree. We understand because we are all going through it as well. This is why I love this community and just being able to connect with people on a deeper level, just to get to know each other better, and even just using astrology as a tool to process our emotions and process our experience through. It's so much easier to give other people grace too. Or at least I think so. Thank you all. I appreciate you. No voice memos. If you send me one, I'll probably listen to it, but it might take me a couple extra days because if I see it, I'm just like, I can't deal with it. Being from the East Coast, I make sure to check in the morning to see what my day looks like. Yes. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, loving you all. Let's talk about this Scorpio moon while the moon is still in Scorpio. So the moon moved into Scorpio on Saturday afternoon, mid-morning. And if there's anything you've taken away from watching these live streams, it's that the Scorpio moon is intense. And it's the last quarter moon in Scorpio. So the last quarter moon officially is happening basically right now. It was this morning, but we're definitely feeling it right now. But we were coming into the last quarter moon, and Scorpio energy honestly just feels like a purge. So as the moon moved into Scorpio on Saturday, it's definitely been that release energy, purging stagnant feelings, cutting cords, purging emotions, letting go. It's a little bit ironic, I'll say, because Scorpio energy loves control. The shadow of Scorpio is manipulation, really getting to the bottom of things so we know what we're facing. But the last quarter moon in Scorpio is like, just let go of what you can't control, right? And letting go, Scorpio is very much associated with our empowerment. Letting go can lead us to more empowerment, our ability to ride the waves, our ability to get deeper with ourselves and know, like, I got me regardless of what's coming. That can be very empowering, but it's definitely a practice of releasing control, right? So right when the moon moved into Scorpio, it squared Mercury on Saturday. And over the weekend, you might have had some deeper realizations or deep emotions come up with the moon in Scorpio. And the moon met up with the South Node as well on Saturday night. So really this energy of being consciously aware right away of our deep emotions, like we got to let this go. And then the moon meeting up with the South Node and opposing the North Node was like this purge that also allowed us to align with where we're going. It's like releasing the weight of the past in order to align with the future. So lots of releasing this weekend. And then on Sunday, the only energy we felt on Sunday, the only connection between any planets, the moon, that was exact at least, was the moon opposing Uranus. This happened right around 2 p.m. on Sunday, Pacific time. And my partner, huge sports fan. So, we had the Super Bowl on and did the Super Bowl. We didn't go to a party or anything. We just continued to rearrange our house with the Super Bowl on in the background. But as the moon was opposing Uranus, he was asking me, like, what do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win? And I said, it's probably going to be an upset or something disruptive is going to happen. Nothing crazy happened during the Super Bowl, but it was like the moon's opposing Uranus. So we got to expect the unexpected. And So that was kind of a fun lens to watch the Super Bowl through, like, ooh, could something unexpected or crazy happen? And I mean, I wouldn't say anything super crazy happened, but if you watched, why am I forgetting his name right now? The quarterback. Wow, my brain of the Chiefs. Is he still watching? Somebody help me here. Who is the main quarterback? This is how you know sports are not my thing. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, stuff. He like twisted his ankle again, but then he had this crazy performance where he kept, he basically like ran the ball with a sprained ankle. It was this whole thing. So anyway, I was like, thank you. Yeah. Coming through in the chat, Mahomes. Everybody's like, when it's something's on the tip of your tongue and you're like, why isn't it coming to me? Oh, yeah. I'm originally from Pennsylvania and my Facebook feed is interesting. Yeah, I bet there's some angst. The moon is still in Scorpio right now. So I know this because I played fantasy football one time and randomly won. Love that for you. I played one time and I got last place and got my money back. But I asked my partner, who would win if it was an upset? And he said, the Eagles are favored, so it would probably be the Chiefs if it was an upset. And I was like, the Chiefs are going to win. And I even had this like random, really intuitive moment during the game where he was like, who do you think's going to score next? And I like looked at the screen and instantly said 19 because I just saw 19 and then 19 scored next. And I was like, okay, Uranus coming in with the intuition over here with the upsets. Just a fun way. For me, it makes sports a lot more interesting if I apply astrology. So, right? He twisted his ankle and had no problems performing on it. I know. A little dramatic that they were like, at the end, like, what an amazing performance on his hurt ankle. I'm like, he was fine. We felt it in our friend group, right? People and Eagles fans are very passionate. People from Philadelphia in general are very passionate people. So if you cross an Eagles fan today, be gentle with them. The moon is still in Scorpio, right? Exactly. So that was the only connection yesterday. And maybe if you weren't watching the game or you were watching the game, wherever you were, maybe you were coming up against some upsets, some outbursts, maybe an abrupt change of plans yesterday with the moon opposing Uranus, or just some deep emotions surfacing and kind of disrupting your ability to go with the flow. I am officially off Facebook. Yeah, people from Philadelphia can do that. No offense to anybody from Philadelphia watching. They're just very loud and proud people from my experience. I don't know too many people from Philadelphia, but the people I do know are a presence. They are presences. Is that a word? Okay, let's talk about today. So we've talked about Mercury in Aquarius. We're feeling Mercury in Aquarius. Mars and Chiron still connecting. I will say, with all this talk about Philly fans being upset, Mars connecting with Chiron. Philadelphia is already a very Mars energy. People from the East Coast. If I was to assign planets to like the East-West Coast dynamic, it would be like East Coast is more Mars, West Coast is more Venus, if you will. It's a little more aggressive and direct on the East Coast. West Coasters were like, we are just here to receive and be in the sunshine and go with the flow. It's kind of that duality, right? So true. Yeah. So Mars connecting with Chiron right now, people who are a little hurt by the outcome of the big game, right? That means so much to a lot of people, might be a little aggro today. Just saying. Okay, let's talk about the moon though. So we're feeling the last quarter moon in Scorpio the most strongly on this Monday. And again, it's that energy of purging, releasing attachments, cutting cords, letting go. Letting go can be a little bit challenging when the moon's in Scorpio, but it's also death and rebirth. When we let go, we're opening up to new energy, to new opportunities, and there's a lot of empowerment in the shedding process. So full permission before the moon moves into Sagittarius to I'm picturing like gunk stored emotionally inside of us. Like, clear out the gunk, do a deep cleaning so that when the moon does move into Sagittarius this evening, it's like, okay, freedom, as Corby mentioned, freedom is coming, right? So clear out any gunk so you have like this nice, fun, fresh energy to work with when the moon moves into Sagittarius. Overnight, the moon harmonized with Venus. This was at 2 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Eastern time. So I know a lot of us have been having vivid dreams. The moon in Scorpio can do that in general just because it connects us with our subconscious and our intuition. But the moon harmonizing with Venus feels like maybe sweet dreams or kind of some affection coming through late at night, some snuggly vibes. It almost feels as if the moon in Scorpio takes us down into our subterranean awareness, where Venus in Pisces brings us up into kind of like an ethereal realm, or wanting to be in an ethereal realm. So it's kind of like this bridge between the subconscious and the ethereal, allowing for deep messages to come through in our dreams, and hopefully loving messages. I mean, love just flows when the moon is harmonizing with Venus, but since this was happening overnight, hey, maybe love flowed for you overnight. Good for you if that's the case. Very watery, very emotional, even like loving emotions coming through, but a lot of us probably just slept right through this. And so maybe you felt that in your dreams instead. What we woke up under was a trine between the moon and Neptune, and really feeling that first quarter moon, or excuse me, the last quarter moon at the same time. So I'll jump back here and you can see, is it going to show us? Yes, the moon harmonizing with Neptune here and then squaring the sun at the same time. So this feels like kind of like a little balancing act between like intuitive flow, or even just kind of wanting to stay in the dream state. It's really easy to be dreamy and fluid when the moon and Neptune are harmonizing. Creativity, imagination can come through. But then with the moon squaring the sun at the same time, there's a little bit of restlessness or agitation, or like kind of wanting to get on with it, or wanting to like move on or get up and go. You know, it's kind of this simultaneous flow and agitation. So you might have felt, I know for me, I wanted to stay in bed, but I also had this like, okay, I have to get up. Like almost this anxiety of like needing to move on or like release something. So simultaneous flow and agitation playing out at the same time. Creativity today, or this morning, if it's still morning where you are. I guess it's not really morning for any of us anymore, but first part of the day today, creativity can help release and help us move on. Definitely leaning into that Neptune energy can help us clear any of that gunk I was just talking about. I feel like Neptune is like water cleansing anything else that needs to come out and be released. So leaning into those emotions, letting it flow out with the moon harmonizing with Neptune, giving your body rest if you need it, or if you're feeling a little anxiety, finding a creative outlet for that to help you process things a little more easily. Elena says, I've been feeling super witchy with Venus and Pisces. I've been learning more and doing spell work for myself. Love that. That Pisces energy allowing you to kind of open to other realms or to magic. Pisces is very magical. Love that you're doing spell work. Guests who woke up feeling absolutely drained and exhausted, just so comfy in bed. So let herself sleep until 11:30. Then woke up feeling like I'm going to clean my whole house 15 minutes later. Then nope. Yeah, that feels like a great example of the juxtaposition between the trine to Neptune and the square to the sun. The square to the sun is like, clear it out, clean out the house, let's go. It's time to release, cut it off. But the Neptune energy is like, but wouldn't it be nice to just snuggle up a little longer, or check out into a fantasy, or just like watch a movie or something like that? Yeah, so you might be feeling that contrast too. I just had a full-blown singing dance sesh to release some energy. My partner got home from work early to me singing super loudly. Embarrassed, but completely worth it. Never be embarrassed. Never be embarrassed. That's amazing. Your body knew what it needed to do to release, and you like used both of these transits, the trine to Neptune, that creativity, and then also the square to the sun, like releasing pent up energy through creativity. Amazing. And also, like, what a great example to your partner, who I'm assuming doesn't do that, sing and dance around the house. Like, that is a great way to release energy. He should really try it sometime if he doesn't normally do that. Come on, the living room, watch your show. Boom. Confirmed why I changed my mind cleaning, but I still think I got the energy to do it. Just that push-pull. Yeah. Saging everything is a great start, right? I did a bunch of cleaning, and then last night I was like, okay, I can continue doing this tomorrow. I don't have to finish it all today, but I've been debating. I'm like, I want to finish cleaning everything before I sage. Like, I want to like clear everything out. We're getting there. We're getting there. 90s R&B while I did my hair. Yes. Dancing in the bathroom is like a whole other vibe while you're getting ready. It just gets you like amped up to do whatever you're going to do. Subterranean awareness. Yeah, like that deeper awareness, that intuitive awareness that's like, okay, we know what's down there. Even if we don't want to look at it, it's down there. Very interesting too that I've been reflecting a lot on plumbing issues I've been having, because that's a big reason I did not stream at the end of last week. I've been having plumbing issues. I'm waiting on a plumber and couldn't shower, and it was like a whole thing. But Pluto feels like what lies beneath, and the plumbing is certainly what lies beneath my house and the darkness that I've been avoiding because I knew that plumbing issues were coming up. And Mercury conjunct Pluto. I'm like, my ruling planet conjunct Pluto. Of course, this is when this would come up, right? Yeah. Oh, I also did some doodling while listening to music. Felt such a release. Seems to be the theme of the day. Great examples of ways to use creativity to release. Elena did some deep cleaning too, saged and prayed over my house. Something that's been amazing. I feel really connected to this house because she's really old. She was built in 1950, so I like really respect her. I'm like, you are way older than me, you know, like you've lived a lot of life. But communing with my house is a being in itself, you know, like, thank you for protecting me. Thank you for being stable and, you know, praying over your house, sending good energy to your house, kind of viewing your home as an entity in itself. That's been really helpful for me. Okay, so we talked about the release. Now, what we're feeling, or we're starting to feel, I'll just bring up the chart and let you see with your own eyeballs, so you don't blame me for the fact that this is happening right now, but the moon is squaring Saturn. That's what we're coming into. 1 p.m. Pacific is the exact time. So this afternoon, the moon is squaring Saturn, and that can bring up worries, doubts, fears, negative emotions, kind of make us want to isolate. It can bring up feelings of loneliness as well. Not the most fun transit to talk about, but I love how we led into talking about this transit with some coping mechanisms, like leaning into creativity and releasing. So maybe some of the gunk that's still stuck down there has to do with your worries or doubts or the negative emotions you're kind of attached to and holding on to, like, well, what if? Feels like a what if with the moon squaring Saturn. So if you feel the need to spend some time alone, spend some time alone. But also acknowledge if you're having those worries come up, if you're having those what ifs or those fears come up, it's an opportunity to release them. It's an opportunity to be like, okay, I hear you, Saturn. I hear you trying to protect me and make sure I'm aware of everything that could possibly happen right now, but I don't have to subscribe to that way of thinking anymore. I can trust that I have the power in me to make anything happen I want to happen, and I no longer need to be in a scarcity or fear-based mindset. So it's not that you're just being like, la la la, I'm just not going to worry about anything. But if there's something that keeps coming up, like a worry that's being perpetuated, acknowledging like, I don't have to let this control me, right? I can release its grip over me. So responsibilities could feel a little heavier too. Like you might really feel like you need to get a bunch of work done this afternoon with the moon squaring Saturn. You have to be responsible. You have to be mature. And that could bring up some feeling like out of control. Just observe, I guess. Are you operating from a place of like scarcity and like, I have to get all this work done so nothing bad happens? Or like, okay, I'm really feeling motivated and I'm going to put my head down and like go after something because I know what I'm after. There's a different energy there. So acknowledging, are we operating from a place of fear, or are we operating from a place of motivation and inspiration? I'm sorry, Nick. He said, I had one of the worst arguments with my mother this morning before I came back down the street to watch your live stream. That's not fun. I'm sorry to hear that. That can be that Scorpio energy, that last quarter moon. Sometimes what we're holding just needs to come out, and it's not always fun the way it comes out. But I hope you're feeling, as you process this, like maybe you got some things off your chest that you've been wanting to get off your chest, and I'm sure you two will come back together. But if you're feeling low this afternoon or worrying about it, that's normal. Just know it's just Saturn making it feel a little heavier than it needs to be. It'll get easier, especially when the moon moves into Sagittarius. Wow, Corby. She was thinking this morning that worry no longer serves me, and it never did. Amen to that. Choosing to stand on the fact that I've always been protected, taken care of, and things always work out for me overall. Yes, such a beautiful awareness, and something that I've really been coming back to a lot lately as well. So thank you. Thank you for confirming that, because yeah, I've been like, why wouldn't I be taken care of? Everything's worked out for me in the past. When I've needed money, it's come to me. When I've needed an opportunity, it's come to me. So why wouldn't I be taken care of this time around as well? Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. Your anxiety and emotions are always there along for the ride, but you are always the driver no matter what. Learn to drive with those worries there is something I learned today on a podcast. I love that. Yeah, like you're just driving, and that fear is just in the back seat, and it's like, well, what? It's like a little kid, like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? It's like, well, what if this? What if that? But you can be the adult and be like, I got you. I'm driving the car. We're protected. It's all good. It's all good. Look at how safely I'm driving. There's no need to worry, Love that visualization. Yeah, we're sending you love, Nick. Hoping clarity comes through. Yeah. Sometimes Scorpio energy, even the moon opposing Uranus, it's like sometimes you got to have the upset. Sometimes you got to have the breakdown in order for the breakthrough to come. Sometimes we have to go through really uncomfortable and challenging moments to get to that like aha moment or that realization, or for things to progress in a new way. I was kind of in the wrong too. It was all bad. Well, that's a beautiful self-awareness already, right? So many of us are just in a space of like, well, they did this and they did that. So give yourself some grace. And what can you learn about yourself from this? What can you learn about your relationship from this? And know that we are all sending you love and think you're amazing. And even the fact that you're able to be like, I was in the wrong, and write that out is major, 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 major. Okay, one more Scorpio moon transit to talk about. This is 4 p.m. Pacific time today. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's at the 29th degree. So can we just pause for a moment here and also talk about the fact that Pluto is now at the anaretic degree, now at the 29th degree, and has been since, I believe, Friday or Saturday. So since I last saw you, Pluto has gotten more intense. And so, yeah. Also, Nick, Pluto, if you're a Scorpio rising, is your ruling planet. Same with you, Corby. So if you're a Scorpio rising, Pluto at the anaretic degree over the next couple weeks is probably going to feel really intense for all of us, but especially for Scorpio risings. The anaretic degree is like restlessness, agitation, like wanting to get on to the next thing. It's the last degree. We can see 0 degrees. It's right there, the next sign. We just want to move on to it already. So with Pluto here, the planet of transformation, the planet of death and rebirth, we just want the transformation to happen already. We just want to get on with it already, right? Like, come on. And sometimes when we're eager for transformation, when we're eager for something to happen, we take control and we try to manipulate it. So this afternoon, when the moon forms a sextile to Pluto, we're definitely feeling that. But it's just a reminder, I think, that Pluto he's loud right now. he really is like ready to move into Aquarius. Ready to do it differently. But there could be over the next couple weeks like this, okay, let's just transform. Let's just cut things off. Pluto and Capricorn, cut it off so we can move on to the next chapter, move on to the next sign. And even just today, because the moon is in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, it's very much that death energy, that cutting off energy. You might feel like this tonight, like I'm ready to burn it all down. I'm ready to cut people off. Try not to make rash decisions. Instead, use Pluto's influence as that final little like bleh, that final purge of any gunk that's still stuck down there, any stagnant emotions. Let them come up, let them be released, like removing toxins from your body almost. Just let them come out so you're a little lighter heading into the next couple days, because we've got a lot of powerful things going on, but also just want to take a moment for Pluto and acknowledge that Pluto is going to be at 29 degrees for the next couple weeks until Pluto moves into Aquarius. And that happens, let me pull up the calendar here. Pluto moves into Aquarius on March 23rd. So we've got about a month of Pluto at the anaretic degree. There could be intense transformation coming up. You might love it, you might not. Who knows what's going to happen, but just that awareness, like we don't have to be in control. We don't have to manipulate everything. Trusting our intuition, letting things unfold in divine timing. That's all we can really do. Pluto has really been in my awareness. Katie says lots of releasing and preparing to do things differently. Beautiful. Yeah, and with Pluto in Capricorn, at the very end of Capricorn, Pluto will go retrograde back into Capricorn a little bit later this year. So it's not our last taste of Pluto in Capricorn, but close. And Pluto in Capricorn is like releasing a lot of past stuff. Capricorn energy is very much the past, right? Where Aquarius energy is all about the future. So we're really being given the next month to release the past. Lots of corruption being found out on the world stage. Yeah. Housing crash, Pluto and Capricorn. Totally, Nikki. So I think you'll also be just seeing a lot more about Pluto in the next month, because every astrologer and their mother is going to be talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius and already have started. So we're all going to be thinking more about Pluto, and the 29 degrees is going to make his influence a little stronger than usual too. But yes, so perfect for cord cutting energy. Very interesting how it aligned with the last quarter moon, definitely. And I know a few of us did cord cuttings over the weekend. Amazing. Okay, so now we're done talking about Scorpio energy. We're just really quickly going to touch on the waning crescent moon moving into Sagittarius. This is happening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll let you do the math wherever you live. The moon in Sagittarius. We've had a heavy weekend. It's been a lot. This last quarter moon in Scorpio. The waning moon in Sagittarius is like a weight is lifted. Lighten up, live a little, allow the release to continue, but allow it to happen through fun. It's a reminder that fun, exploration, adventure can be forms of release. So the coming days are like an open invitation to find freedom in releasing the old and kind of dance in the space of what was. Like, have faith in what's coming next, but just surrender and have a little fun with the moon in Sagittarius. Let your hair down and understand that part of the process of expansion and growth is learning to trust in what's coming next rather than trying to control it. So we've really been feeling that control, that grip, that release, that discomfort. The moon in Sagittarius is like, move your body, have some fun, move the energy, and be optimistic because something good is coming, even if you don't know what's coming next. I'm very excited for the moon in Sagittarius. I'm ready. I love my Scorpio moon. I have a Scorpio moon, but love the moon in Sagittarius. I'm feeling that Capricorn energy, planning for the long term in between my Mercury and Sun. Yeah. You're going to feel Pluto for sure in the next month. Can't wait for more equity in the world stage, Pluto in Aquarius. Yeah, I am very curious to see what Pluto in Aquarius brings. Of course, we'll talk about that a little more in March. But definitely a transformation of the collective. I think it'll have a lot to do with technology. I think AI probably will be a big part of it, if I had to guess, if I have to just kind of like lean into that initial nudge that I'm getting. But also I think it could bring revealing a lot of darkness about technology. Many of us already know that, but we're very much wrapped up. I mean, we're using technology, all of us right now, right? And so I think it'll kind of reveal some darker things that are going on with technology in the world, and maybe create more freedom through technology, but also through understanding who is controlling technology. I don't know, just a little tidbit, a little preview of what's to come, since we're really feeling Pluto all of a sudden. I just love that we have the moon moving into Sagittarius. It's like, don't freaking worry about Pluto. Don't worry about what you're releasing. Just move through it. Just pull back the arrow and release and let it go wherever it's going to go. It's going to land where it's going to land. So just release it already so we can keep going, keep living our lives, keep partying. Sagittarius energy is like a big party, right? So a lot lighter energy. A lot lighter energy is coming our way. And I think this is a perfect point to come back to our affirmation of the day, which is, I am ready to let go. I am ready to let go. If there's anything that comes to mind when you hear that or when you say that, that's a thing you're ready to let go of. I'm ready to let go. If you're noticing yourself gripping it, that's okay. Give yourself grace. But what are you ready to finally let go of? What is ready to be released in your life? I am ready to let go. Be thankful for being in the moment, enjoying new gifts. Very much the energy we're coming into with the Sagittarius moon, living in the moment for sure. And we're going to finish up with a pull from the Work Your Light deck. This deck was just calling to me today, so I went with it. We're going to see what final message needs to come through, wants to come through for us. We've talked about so much today, so we'll just see if there's any final message that ties everything up or gives us one more thing to ponder. You all know this is your time to ask any final questions, share any final insights. And actually, as I shuffle, I'm just going to pull up the chart really quick and preview what we're going to be talking about this week. So I won't go through every transit coming up this week, but there are two major conjunctions we have our eyes on. The first, you can probably see them on the chart. The first is going to be a conjunction between Venus and Neptune. That will happen, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday. So love that for us. Neptune is considered to be the higher octave of Venus. So it's like taking love to the next level. Probably, I mean, we're already feeling this. I love that this is happening for Valentine's Day. In fact, we'll probably touch on this a little bit more in tomorrow's forecast while we're in the flow of love for Valentine's Day, talking about Valentine's Day. But love gets a little boost. Venus conjunct Neptune. It's a little dreamy. I feel like we'll be kind of basking in the afterglow of Valentine's Day too. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we also have a conjunction happening between the Sun and Saturn. That's Thursday or Friday, I think the next day. So that conjunction between the Sun and Saturn, I believe it's Thursday. That can be a little bit less fun, right? It can be a little bit more of those worries and doubts and Saturn influence that we've been talking about, or just making us take a really practical look at whatever area of our chart Saturn is in right now, really illuminating the lessons we've been learning. So we've got two really powerful conjunctions. One so dreamy, so beautiful, like only seeing through the rose-colored glasses, only seeing the beautiful things in life, only feeling the one love. And then the other conjunction that directly follows is like back to reality. This is facing the facts. These are the lessons we're learning. This is the structure that we're following. So those are the two conjunctions that are playing out. We have some other minor aspects, and this is the last week of Aquarius season. Pisces season starts on Saturday. We have a new moon in Pisces at 1 degree of Pisces on Sunday. So the energy is going to shift quite a bit at the end of the week. But first, we have two conjunctions that we'll be talking about before then. Okay, a card came out to me during that shuffle. So here it is. What do we need to know? Ooh, break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. If that's not on point for literally everything we've talked about, both releasing the past and so much talking about the future with Mercury in Aquarius, with starting to feel the pull of Pluto in Aquarius, rewriting the future. Rewriting the future, Mercury in Aquarius. I mean, that is just so perfect. But let's see what other wisdom the guidebook has for us for this card. Where are you? There it is. Break the chain. You are being called to heal your family line or free yourself from living the life of your ancestors. This could mean letting go of an old pattern of your maternal or paternal line, healing trauma from the past that is not even yours, or observing old ways of being that no longer serve you. We carry emotional trauma in our luminous field for up to 7 generations back. This is why family patterns can be the hardest to break. Often they are not even ours to begin with. But we do not know another way of being, so we continue playing out the drama. The thing to notice when ancestral healing comes up is that you cannot heal another person, but your own healing can cause another person to choose to heal. Energy is freed up. You are being guided now to look at your life and decide how you want it to be. What ways of being or patterns are you ready to free yourself from? What part of your future do you want to rewrite? What part of your future do you want to rewrite? Now is the time to shake them off and dream a new future into being. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This resonates so deeply and really feels like the shift from Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius. Capricorn is all about ancestry. It's all about the past, right? Breaking patterns from the past. A lot of us with Pluto and Capricorn over the last couple years have been doing a lot of family work, generational trauma work that's been coming up, looking at the darkness of our family lines. And with Pluto moving into Aquarius, it feels like innovation. It feels like transformation and rewriting the future. And Mercury in Aquarius being here kind of as a prelude to, is that what it's called? A prelude to Pluto in Aquarius is like, okay, we can rewrite the future. What are we calling in with Pluto and Aquarius? I mean, just even the last quarter moon, purging, releasing patterns in order to grow with the moon moving into Sagittarius. It really does feel like this shift in today's forecast of releasing the old to make way for the new. I feel Pluto and Aquarius will bring lots of changes to raising kids and creating villages. Yes. Katie, yes, the reminder we don't have to do it alone, releasing the beliefs that it has to be the nuclear family, that we have to have this structure, right? With Pluto and Aquarius, it's really been breaking down generational patterns. And yes, I love that idea of Pluto and Aquarius creating villages. Love that. So on point for me today, but I mean, when isn't it, right? It feels so potent for me personally, but also for everything we've talked about today. And I love this illustration too. It shows a woman walking out of a cave, and there are shadows behind her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadows all the way back into the cave and coming out behind her. Like she is choosing to heal, and all these generations behind her are healing as an effect of that. This is powerful. Rachel says, I did a huge cord cutting yesterday with my inner child, healed the hurt I felt with my family, and infused that cord with love, forgiveness, and compassion. Perfect. This is the confirmation. You're breaking the chain. Amazing. Well, I just want to say thank you all one more time for being patient with me, for being so understanding, and for always being willing to tune into the live stream when it happens. You know, I have big dreams one day of this being a little more professional, a little more produced, but I'm just grateful that you all show up with me when I can show up and make time for this community. If you're new here, welcome. We're so excited to have you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free almost every day. And if you are one of my regulars, you are amazing. You are so powerful. I'm so, so grateful to have you here and for all of the wisdom you share with us. Feeling all the love from you guys. I always feel so much better after these live streams. Just confirmation that this is where we're supposed to be and this is what we're supposed to be doing. This card is amazing and so comforting. Katie says, sometimes breaking cycles feels like invisible work, but I am in alignment and it will have a ripple effect. It 1000% is already having a ripple effect, Katie. You should be so proud of yourself. What a card pull. Yeah, we love you, Corby. Need to stop arguing with my mother. She just wants to get rid of a bunch of my father's stuff. She really doesn't care about it all. Really miss my father who died in 2020. We're sending you love, Nick. It's not an easy process to navigate. And especially with this Scorpio moon, a lot of releasing. It's hard to let go. It's hard to let go. But it sounds like just from this comment that what you're struggling more with letting go of is your actual physical presence of your father rather than just his stuff. We're sending you love. We're here to support you. And I hope you can find a little love for yourself today too, because that's a lot to go through. All right, everyone. Happy to share some positivity, especially when I have the positivity to share. Send some good vibes to my pipes too, everybody, because the plumbing saga continues. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Transits Today. I will be back tomorrow morning for a Valentine's Day episode, so get ready to talk a lot about love, sharing the love. We're feeling that Venus-Neptune conjunction coming into effect, so maybe we'll even talk about the history of Valentine's Day a little bit, talk about why we celebrate love on this day, and just send more love to each other like we do every day. Yeah, sending you all love through the ups and downs of the universe's lessons and gifts. And I love, Nick, that you can still send me positive vibes even when you're going through your own hardship. You are amazing. All right, everybody. Loving you all, not just during the live stream, but even when I'm away. And I will be back tomorrow, but whenever I see you next. Until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.